Imagine being shipwrecked, cold, and hungry. Then a deadly viper bites your hand in front of everyone. They expect you to drop dead, yet you don't even flinch. That's exactly what happened to the Apostle Paul, and the reason why will change how you see God's power in your own life. A storm rages. A ship is wrecked. Survivors crawl onto the cold, wet shores of Malta. Among them is Paul, the apostle who carried the gospel with unshakable courage. But what happens next would leave the islanders stunned, and us with a profound lesson about faith, destiny, and the power of God. As Paul helps gather sticks for a fire, a deadly viper, one of the most feared creatures of the region, lashes out and sinks its fangs into his hand. The locals gasp. To them, it's a sign. Surely this man is cursed. Surely justice has caught up with him. But Paul doesn't panic. He doesn't collapse. He doesn't even flinch in fear. He simply shakes the serpent into the fire and continues as if nothing happened. Minutes pass, then hours. The people watch, waiting for his body to swell, for him to fall dead. But Paul remains unharmed, alive, strong, unshaken. This was no ordinary survival story. This was divine protection in action. Jesus himself had promised in Mark chapter 16, verses 17 to 18, that his followers would take up serpents and they will not be harmed. Paul's survival was not an accident. It was a confirmation. God's hand was upon him, and his mission was unstoppable. And the result? The very people who thought Paul was cursed began to see the power of God at work. He healed the sick on the island, prayed for many, and turned tragedy into testimony. The snake bite that was meant to destroy him became the doorway for revival. But what does this mean for you today? Life has a way of throwing venom at us. Betrayal, fear, anxiety, broken dreams. Maybe you've been bitten by discouragement or poisoned by the words of others. The enemy wants you to believe it's the end. But just like Paul, you carry a greater power inside you, the Spirit of the living God. The serpent may strike, but it cannot stop God's plan for your life. What was meant to kill you can become the very thing that reveals God's glory through you. Paul survived because his life was anchored in God's promise. And you can stand firm too. Shake off the snake. Shake off the fear. Shake off the lies. What bites you does not define you. What God has spoken over you does. Like, share, follow, and subscribe for more faith-building Bible insights.